Hi guys, welcome back to Uncensored. My name is Cosmo, and today I fell upon a very interesting yet weird video of a teenager that molested his sister. Now, I do not want to spoil the video, so let's just jump right into it.
Tell me what goes through your mind when you touch your sister or you touch a child. What goes through your mind at that moment?
Well said, Dr. Phil. That is actually a valid question from Dr. Phil. What went through his mind when he molested his sister? Because if you love somebody, you wouldn't want to hurt them. So what made him to touch his sister?
I just wasn't really thinking about anything other than sex. I just wanted my needs met. And
Guys, did you hear what he said? He said it did not really matter who he was having sex with so far as his needs were met. Now, that is the power of lust. When you lust after something, you are willing to do anything and everything to get your lust desire fulfilled. Imagine that. He molested his sister just to get his lust desired fulfilled.
I realized that it was wrong now, but at the time, it didn't really feel wrong. It felt right for me, but I realize now that that was messed up, what I did. And
there is something I've noticed about this guy when he speaks. Now bear with me. The first thing he said is at the time, it didn't feel wrong, it felt right. And the second thing I've noticed is when he's speaking about the incident, it seems like it happened when they were 10, 11, or 12 years old, right? Now, my question to you guys is, do you think this happened when they were children, or do you think this happened when he was actually a teenager?
Well, based on your recounting, we've put together a list of your sexual offenses.
What? A list of sexual offenses? If someone has a list of sexual offenses, that is a pattern. And for me, it is mind-blowing and it is mind-boggling that his parents did not notice that their kid needed help. Because in a situation like this, you should put that kid in a psychiatric hospital so that he can get the best help he possibly can to be able to get rid of whatever thing he's thinking. Now, my question to you guys is, what happened to him for him to start molesting his sister? Because there must be a cause of that. You know what I mean? A kid does not just grow knowing what sex is. Someone must have shown him. Someone must have practiced on him. Or am I wrong?
You touched a 5-year-old girl when you were 9.
Okay, guys, we are actually starting to get a timeline here. When he was 9 years old, he molested a girl that was 5 years old. And that is sad and disgusting. But let's focus on the point of what I'm trying to make. For a kid to be able to do that to a 5-year-old girl when he was 9, he must have seen it somewhere or someone must have practiced it on him. Because children learn through example. That is how kids learn how to walk, because they see people around them walk. So they walk, okay? They learn how to walk. Kids copy from other people. Now, the question becomes, do you think it is a fault of the parents or do you think it is a fault of the kid? Comment below.
Touched a 6-year-old girl when you were 12.
Yeah.
Touched your sister when she was 11 and you were 13.
Okay, he touched his sister when he was 13 and she was 11. I'm not surprised because he touched someone else's kid when they were 5 and he was 9. That is a pattern. And I do not understand how the parents did not see the pattern of this kid. They could have intervened early so that this kid could get help. Or am I just hard on the parents, or do you think that I'm actually correct in my thinking? Comment below, guys. I'm curious to know what you people think.
Touched your mother's breast several times when you were 13.
Guys, did you hear that? He touched his mother's breast a lot of time when he was 13. And yet she couldn't think that something was wrong with that. Why would a 13-year-old touch his mother's breast? Couldn't she figure out that that is not normal? That is weird. That maybe her kid needs help. I blame the parents. Of course I blame the parents. Because this is a pattern. The kid is screaming out for help through his behaviors, and you people are not even focusing on the kid to give the kid the best help he possibly could get. Guys, please comment below if you agree with me or disagree with me.
touched your sister when she was 13 and you were 14.
So if I understand this correctly, he molested his sister twice. When she was 11 and he was 13, and when she was 12 and he was 14. Twice in the same house. Imagine how hard it must be for his sister to look at her brother do something so horrific to her. You can never forgive him for that. And he can never forgive himself for that. When you have kids, you have to focus on your kids. You have to pay attention to what they do. Otherwise, things like this can happen.
No, I never touched my mother's breasts.
Guys, I'm about to say something a little bit controversial right now. I actually believe him when he said he didn't touch his mother's breast when he was 13. Now, the reason why I believe him is because if he was 13 and he was touching his mother's breast, she would have noticed that something is wrong with her child and she would have done something about it. She would have said, okay, this kid needs help. This is totally abnormal for a kid to do this. But at the same time, he has no reason to lie. Now, comment below if you think he's telling the truth or if you think he's lying.
You'd be sitting by me on the couch and I'd have my arm around you and you would poke my breast.
Guys, I do not know why, but I dislike the mother when she speaks. Now, the reason why I dislike her is because she's sitting out here and trying to vilify her son. Yes, what her son did was absolutely horrendous. It was horrible that he did that. But truth to be told, there is a reason to why he did what he did. Now, that is not an excuse for what he did. But kids do not just do things randomly. There's a reason to why they do things. And the mother sitting out here and trying to vilify him, but she could have done something about that. She could have helped her son. If you notice that your son is touching your breast, you would have given the best possible help to your son so that your son could live a normal life.
And then you would say, whoops, Mom.
How do you feel about what you've done to your sister?
Whoa, that is actually a good question. How does he feel about what he did to his sister? Because I am actually thinking about that. Is he sad? Is he remorseful? I'm curious to hear what he's going to say.
I feel terrible about it. I never planned on hurting my sister. I love my sister.
I truly believe that he feels sad and hurt by what he has done to his sister, because the last person you want to hurt on this earth is one of your own family members. Now, comment below if you agree with me or disagree.
I apologize. Like, the letter that I wrote you, maybe you didn't find it sincere, but I put a lot of time and effort into that. I probably spent about 3 days writing that.
Okay guys, we have a lot to unpack right now. He said he wrote a letter to his sister. And truth to be told, we do not know what is in the letter. We do not know if the letter was sincere or not. But from what he said, his sister did not believe that his letter was sincere. Now, there are two reasons to why she does not believe that it was sincere. Number one is because he did what he did to her and she has difficulties forgiving him. Or number two is that his letter wasn't actually sincere. There's a possibility of that. Because if someone hurts me and I still feel hurt, no matter how much they apologize, I wouldn't accept the apology. But if I have forgiven them and they wrote a letter, there's a high chance I might think that they're actually sincere because my heart is not more in there. I've forgiven them, I've moved on. Maybe she hasn't yet moved on. Maybe that's why she doesn't find his letter sincereful. You understand? Or maybe his letter wasn't just sincereful. So that's something that I'm really thinking about in my head. Comment below what you think. Why did his sister not find his letter sincereful?
And my dad says that it took me 3 days because I was lazy. No, it took me 3 days because I really wanted to pour my heart and emotion into it.
That is a very valuable information. He said he spent 3 days sitting and thinking about what to write to his sister in the letter. And truth to be told, that is not an easy task because the person he hurt is his sister. And every Christmas, his sister sat down and watched the person that hurt her in front of the table when they are eating on Christmas, and she's seeing him every single time. Imagine how hurt his sister must feel. Imagine how sad she must feel. Imagine how heartbroken she must feel. And that's the reason why she doesn't find his letter sincere. Because if someone hurts you and someone takes away something so valuable from you, it's hard to forgive them, especially if someone is your family member. Because family is supposed to protect you. Family is supposed to love you. And her brother took something so valuable to her.
I don't think that it was as sincere as you say it is, because how can you look at a family member and just be okay with hurting them just to meet your own needs because you are that selfish? It was your selfishness that made you do all those things.
She's correct. She doesn't find it sincere because she's still hurt. Because the person that hurt her is her brother. The guy that's supposed to protect her turns out and hurt her. And she can't even compute or understand why he did what he did. He didn't just do it once, but he did it twice, 2 times. Imagine being in that situation. Imagine being in her position. Would you be able to forgive your perpetrator for taking away something from you that is so valuable? I understand her. I understand when she says she doesn't find his letter sincere, because every time she thinks about it, she will always think of him there. And it's sad.
Have you ever told him how you feel about it? Mm-hmm. What have you told him?
I've told him that I'm just still so angry and confused and disgusted at the fact that he took advantage of me twice. And I mean, we're brother and sister.
That is a very valid question she asked him. How can you be okay hurting a family member? Because if you love a family member, you wouldn't hurt them. But the truth of the matter is, it started when he was 9. And I keep going back to what I've said earlier. Someone must have done this to him, or he must have seen it somewhere and he practiced it on his sister. First was the 5-year-old girl, and then he continued and then practiced on his sister twice. But yet again, that is a very valid question, because when he was 14, he did it to her when she was 12. At 14, you should be able to know what right and wrong is. And he knew that what he was doing was wrong when he was 14. Because then you can think. Then you know that what you're doing is hurting someone else. So there's no excuse for that one.
It was unbelievable that he could look at me and think those things. I just can't stand to look at him when I think about what he did.
When the kids were younger, a teenager, I know that he raped Colin on more than one occasion.
What did I say? A teenager did something to the guy. That is why he's acting the way he's acting. I was correct. And probably that teenager, someone else did something to him, and that's the reason why he did something to this guy.
And I know that that's part of his problem. He started out as a victim, but he's a perpetrator now.
You know what, guys? I rarely say this, but I actually dislike the guy's mother, because she knew that her son was a victim. And the fact that he did this when he was 9 years old to a 5-year-old, that was already a big sign that he needed help. But yet they didn't do anything about it. How sad and how heartbreaking is that? And now she's out here calling her son a perpetrator, which he is, but they could have done something about it, but they chose not to. How are you going to sit down and blame the finger at him when you could have helped him?
You called the police when that happened, I assume?
Yes.
And was he prosecuted?
No.
Anyways, guys, this is the end of the video. Take care, be safe, and bye.